Hello and welcome to another episode of the CUFI Weekly, and I'm going to address something today which has been a story for about a week. And I didn't comment on it earlier because simply the full facts weren't available. But we've seen comments popping up in social media sections of anybody talking about Israel saying this statement: Israel just bombed a church in Gaza. So a week ago, a Catholic church in Gaza was struck by an Israeli tank. It was a tragic event. The IDF immediately said that they were investigating the incident to figure out what happened. They expressed regret, sorrow, and apologized profusely. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke to the Pope, spoke to President Trump, and various other world leaders to explain that this was a tragic accident and the IDF would be investigating. The IDF did investigate. They concluded their investigation this week, and as suspected, this was a tragic miscalculation. It was a case of a munition which went off course and struck a church. It's still a tragedy. It's still terrible, and our heart breaks for those lives lost. And what we've seen come from this is anti-Israel activists jump on this sentiment to create some sort of narrative that Israel is persecuting Christians, that Israel is targeting Christians, that Israel is willfully seeking to attack Christians, which can't be further from the truth. And there are a number of points that I want to discuss right here about this. In war, tragedies and horrific accidents happen. If we just look at the first Gulf War, of the 147 American casualties during that war in 1991, at least 25 of those were in what is called friendly fire incidents, where coalition soldiers were fired on by coalition soldiers and killed. Would we say that those American troops were targeting other American troops, that they were trying to kill American troops? Of course not. That would be an absolutely ridiculous thing to say.
Correction, 9015270, and they were both friendly vehicles. Request permission to break station and go home. Negative, remain on station. Those things are going to happen. Over.
In the fog of war, in the chaos that is war, these terrible accidents happen, and this is exactly what happened in Gaza. If the IDF wanted to cover it up or hide it, they wouldn't have expressed regret and called for an investigation that they've just concluded. Now, what is really troubling, and I think this has become the pattern of things, that the suffering of Christians throughout the world has become a political football for those people who seek to demonize the Jewish state. Now, I'm not going to approach this from a, yes, these people were killed in Gaza, which is a tragedy, but what about Pakistan, where Christians are persecuted? What about Syria? What about X, Y, and Z? Because frankly, I don't hold Israel at the same standard as countries like Pakistan or Iran or Syria. Because Israel is the only country in the Middle East or the region where the Christian population has grown over the last 50 years, where it's been decimated elsewhere. I don't hold Israel to the same standard as Pakistan, where there are separate electoral rolls for minorities and a Christian can never become the prime minister or president of the country. I hold it by the standard of a free and open democracy that it is, where Christians can serve in any facet of government, any facet of the state. And at last poll and research done in Israel showed that they are one of the most educated communities in the country. So no, I'm not going to even do that of holding them to the same standard and do a what about this. What I'm going to do is question these so-called activists, these so-called people, or maybe they're bots, which would not be surprising, who are popping up on social media, who popping up in the comment section of any discussion about Israel and going, well, Israel bombed a church, Israel hates Christians. The statistics simply don't back that up. The research simply does not back that up. This was a tragic accident, and that is acknowledged. We've seen the Druze being persecuted in Syria, not only murdered, but humiliated in intentional acts of violence. Not accidents, these are intentional targeting and acts of violence, but you are completely silent on those. You don't talk about those Christians being murdered day after day. Why? Because the people perpetrating those crimes aren't the people that you want to be perpetrating them. The people perpetrating those crimes against Christians aren't the people that you're looking to demonize. There are churches which exist in Israel which have been there since the rebirth of the Jewish state. Historical sites which relate to Jesus' ministry, the early development of Christianity, which is still there now. I literally visited them a few years ago when I was in Israel last, where CUFI groups go every year to visit, safe, protected. Yet Israel hates Christians. So my message to my Christian brothers and sisters is very clear. Do not believe the lies and the hype that you're being told. Because so many know that Christian support for Israel is vital. That the Jewish people in Israel have no better friend than their Christian friends, especially in America. And these people are trying to draw a wedge in that. They're trying to create a divide by taking a tragic accident and making it the whole story. And if these people really cared about Christians, they would be speaking out about what's going on in Nigeria, what's going on in Pakistan, what's going on in Syria. If they cared about human rights, which they've shown time and time again they don't, they'd be talking about what is happening to the Druze. But again, silence. And that's why we must shine a light in the darkness and speak the truth and not be sucked in to this propaganda-driven hatred. This is Kasim Hafeez for the CUFI Weekly. For Zion's sake, do not remain silent.
Thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get a notification every time a new episode hits. And if you want to check out some of our previous episodes, and we've got some really good ones, click on one of the thumbnails and that will take you right there. And finally, if you want to know more about CUFI and the work we do, go to cufi.org to check out all the resources we have available free to you.